Mead for Metal Podcast, August edition.
Get a little mellow.
A little low key. I was expecting a banger.
We're mellow boys.
I mean, I love Wheel, but I didn't realize I was going to pop right into a really low point of theirs.
You picked their ballad.
I did. We got to redo it, but we'll fucking let her ride.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Mead for Metal Podcast. We do this shit every other week. Fortnightly, as the Brits would say.
That we're American twice a month.
We were just talking right before we got started recording here today. We talked about last time around the Jack Black thing and how much of an asshole Jack Black is because he basically gaslighted fucking Kyle Gass and made him look like the asshole until the word got out. I was like, no, it's Jack Black. Don't be surprised. Jack Black is the asshole here. So if he's online and the AITA comes up, yes, Jack, you are the asshole. But he finally, after weeks, has addressed what the fuck happened with Tenacious D.
Yeah, that didn't take long at all. I guess he's in that fucking new Borderlands movie, which I'm familiar with the games. I've played them, but I've heard nothing great about this fucking movie. He got asked about it on the red carpet for at the premiere, and just basically said, "Hey, yeah, no, we'll be back. We're not done. We're just gonna hold off a little bit."
Yeah, he just made his quote unquote friend look like a dickbag. And all the umbrage of like, you can't make jokes about somebody getting shot. We make jokes about everybody getting shot. I mean, come on.
I mean, like now people are joking about it.
Yeah.
And now it's cool. Maybe was
Kyle
it
Gass
too soon?
A little ahead of the curve, one might say.
Yeah, one that's like, oh, too soon? I mean, we do have 9/11 jokes as well.
There is that.
Primarily courtesy of Norm Macdonald, but, you know.
I made we have a battered women's shelter here in our local area, and I made a joke pertaining to that last night, and I didn't feel right about that all day. That's how dark the humor gets. Every once in a while, I have to say. But the thing is, who did I say it around? I said it around you and Jack, and that's it. I didn't say it around the world. I wasn't on a public stage and cutting a birthday cake or any shit like that. No, that shit was like in my own home, and I'm like, God damn, that's even dark for me.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, you know, that a comedy band can't do comedy.
Well, okay. If you're Jack Black, you either take the Disney money and shut your fucking mouth and get out of Tenacious D and say, man, we've done everything we wanted to do. We're going to go on and do other things individually now. That would have been the right way to do it. But you can't take the Disney money and the Tenacious D money because the mouse is ultimately going to tell you got to fucking straighten up and fly right.
Yeah, and here's the problem as well. These days, if your cred, especially in music, is now officially questioned, I don't think you can come back from that anymore. Like, now people view Tenacious D and Jack Black as a real joke.
Yeah.
Like, Jack Black has lost a lot of cred.
Sure. Well, as he should.
But it's nothing. It's not something you can easily, if ever, get back. There is no forgiveness these days.
Do you think Kyle Gass then gets a little bump from the people who are just angry and might jump and support whatever he might do next?
Sure, but the problem is the D went on hiatus there for a good while, and I mean, Kyle Gass has a project called Trainwreck that he was in, but it never really got traction, and even with the D being an active thing. So I feel like, but I also feel like Kyle Gass would be happy just doing bar shows.
Yeah.
Just playing music.
Because I have a feeling it was always, Jack Black and the weird older guy. Even though they're really not that far off in age, but.
No, Kyle Gass just fucking went to Santa Claus mode real fast.
Yeah, went life a little hard on some people.
Yeah, funny thing, lost a lot of weight later in his existence, and now he looks like that. Used to have a fucking boiler for days.
Yeah. When he had that big white beard, that wasn't doing him any favors. But he does look like an oddball, though, also without it, so I don't know what you do.
Yeah, he either looks like a balding baby or Santa Claus. There is no in between.
Yeah.
But, again, that's not going to affect my enjoyment. Now, again, like I said 2 weeks ago, first 2 D albums is really where I'm at.
Yeah.
The
Which
good
the
days.
second was what? 04, 5?
The soundtrack to Pick a Destiny. So that had to be 2005, 2006. And the only reason I consider that an album is because it's a soundtrack for a movie, but all those songs were written brand new.
Yeah.
There are no rehashes.
So if it's more AITA, am I the asshole? I read some today. We've known for a very long time that, and I bring this up because you're wearing a Ric Flair T-shirt today.
Woo! Daddy.
I found out something about WWF history pertaining to WrestleMania 2.
That was the one they did in 3 different cities.
Jesse the Body Ventura. Prior to WrestleMania 2. Apparently wanted to unionize wrestlers because, I don't know, everywhere that the WWF would go and set up in these big fucking arenas and whatever, everybody working and setting up the digs for their event, everybody in that crew, everybody was unionized.
Sure.
The only people were not unionized happened to be the wrestlers.
Right.
And it's not like Jesse Ventura went out and made a big statement to the press saying, I'm going to try to unionize these people. He didn't say shit. He said it to fellow wrestlers. Well, and then he left to go shoot, to film Predator.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when old dickbag himself, Vince McMahon, comes out and he says, never, ever will wrestlers ever be unionized in this organization, which then leads you to wonder, well, how the fuck did he find out?
Oh, fucking
AITA, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan went and told Vince McMahon that Jesse Ventura was trying to unionize the wrestlers.
Fuck yeah.
Catching Jesse completely off guard when Vince brings it up with him and basically threatened he was going to fucking throw his ass out in the street if he ever tried some shit again.
Yeah,
okay.
dude.
Well, this is back in the day when people thought Hulk Hogan was squeaky clean.
Right. Well, and we know the truth now.
Well, if it's Bubba the Love Sponge, or at least his wife anyway.
Yeah.
He's a Hulk very clean. Yeah.
Clean man. Doesn't like them black people too much.
He loves to use certain words that a certain generation that's mostly gone now used to like to use when you were talking about African Americans.
Yeah, not the cool hip hop version either.
No.
Well, and the funny thing is, I've always felt it's like it does not matter. I don't think they would be able to get all wrestlers under one banner.
No.
I just don't think it's possible.
Well, it's mainly because of how that business operates. Man, you get fired by a WWE. Hey, guess what? Probably Tony Khan is probably going to run out there and throw a contract at you, especially if you were in the WWE. And so it's a constant motion of all of these wrestlers who are in the sports entertainment business, as Chris Jericho will say, and bouncing around in all these different ones, Pinnacle or AEW, New Japan, WWE, if you're in that crowd, the one that weirdo from fucking Smashing Pumpkins owns. I mean,
the NWA.
I mean,
that
so
weirdo.
You've got a lot of movement by these particular entertainers. Yeah, trying to put them under contract would be, or not contract, put them under union control would be hard, but not impossible. The actors do it all the time with SAG, the Screen Actors Guild.
Right. But the biggest problem would be pay. You get unionized, you're wanting a little bit more, like you want the same things your top tier talent's getting. So there's a lot of people out there that are not worth that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that are worth that are not willing to take a pay cut.
I was thinking of Roman Reigns.
Oh, fuck
Here's
yeah.
the thing. If they unionize Roman Reigns and say that it becomes common knowledge that that guy makes $400,000 a year from the WWE, there are no other wrestling organizations who would be able to meet that. So technically, that guy would be hamstrung by being unionized.
Right. In WCW, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they came from the WWF. They were Diesel and Razor Ramon, which the
Reza Mamon.
Razor Mamon, which was basically just a Scarface fucking ripoff, but it was still fun. They went to WCW and they signed a contract with them because back then, like long-term guaranteed contracts were not really a thing.
Right.
So they get a contract, and then they have an addendum in it that says, which by the way, if anybody else comes in and gets paid more than us, it gets matched to us.
That's only weird to me because and maybe it's now. Keep in mind, I was not even watching wrestling back when WCW was a thing.
Especially in its prime.
So it's a little shocking to me because I would always think of Scott Hall not as premier talent, the level right under, but not as like, oh, this is the face of our organization.
No, but he had the popularity. He had the cool factor. The fucking dude was humongous and a hell of a wrestler. I mean, that was actually his biggest aspect is he was willing to like put people over, which for people not familiar, that means do the job, lay on the mat, and let maybe a wrestler that wouldn't normally win and beat that dude win.
Yeah.
But he was like one of the better workers.
It's where you take a loss to help the other guy.
That's right. You put Hulk Hogan didn't do that.
Didn't they team him up with Brutus Beefcake once upon a time?
Ooh, no, that
feels like way back when I was a teenager kind of shit.
Yeah, basically that motherfucker followed wherever Hulk Hogan went. Because him and Hulk Hogan were best friends.
Brutus?
Fuck yeah.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
That stupid mustache is?
When Hulk Hogan went over to WCW, that motherfucker went right behind him.
Isn't that weird that the golden boy of the WWF just went ahead and jumped ship to WCW? Just to become Hollywood Hogan because he always wanted to be a fucking heel, I guess, or whatever.
Well, that's the funny thing. He really didn't. He didn't think that people would enjoy that. He was always used to being the good guy and fucking like this. The term that don't work for me, brother. That is a Hulk Hogan fucking term that you can use in any walk of life. But if it's just say, hey Hulk, look, we're going to have you put over a Ric Flair tonight, but he'll give it back to you. You'll get your loss back in like 2 months after we build for it. That just don't work for me, brother.
Yeah, talk about a shit bird that just like, nope. I know everything is scripted, everything is set. It's entertainment. It is not competition, but I ain't going to suffer any losses.
Yeah, like Bret Hart thinks this shit is real.
Well, Bret Hart's got he's sustained some head injuries.
I can't lose in Montreal, Canada, even though I'm about to leave your fucking company and go somewhere. I just can't lose my last match in Canada. Well, guess what, motherfucker? You lost your last match in Canada.
Yeah, the old Montreal screw job.
Mm-hmm.
Look that up on Google.
I still think that's a fucking work. I don't think that was real. Because they were doing, there was a fucking documentary they'd been doing like a year and a half prior, following Bret Hart around. And this documentary caught a lot of that shit. A lot of behind the scenes, like not of Bret Hart beating the shit out of Vince McMahon, but the fucking end result of this dude coming out with like a black eye and walking around a little staggered because Bret Hart fucking punched him right in the eye right after that. I've always thought, I was like, if Vince McMahon didn't want people to see that, no one would have ever saw it.
That is and it's hard to tell because wrestling will blur the lines of reality and staged all the fucking time.
Especially in the late 90s. It really started.
They call that the personality era or
the attitude
era. That's it. Yeah,
my era.
I guess personality era is the shit they do now on NXT, right?
I don't watch that shit.
Yeah, there was actually SummerSlam was on last weekend. I asked you how that went. You didn't even watch it because you were hanging out over here.
I was like, I assume it went great. No, I don't really. I'll follow like the news blurb shit. I subscribe to a channel on YouTube that every morning I wake up at fucking 5:30 in the morning when I got to work, and they got a news video ready, like for the news of the day, shit that happened last night, shit's happening now. That's really all I follow it. I don't watch it. I don't really follow AEW anymore, to be honest.
Loudwire used to be really good about doing that with a lot of metal acts and shit, but then the pandemic came along and it really kind of fucking rattled everything, and nothing's ever returned to normal in that.
No, I do miss the kick-ass musical collaborations we got out of the pandemic, though. That was a good time. Like fucking that 2 minutes to late night shit.
Yeah.
Getting 5 fucking people together that have never worked together doing like a fucking Rush song or something. Or what's his face doing Over the Mountain? Brand Daler from Mastodon doing Over the Mountain. Claudio from fucking Coheed.
Yeah.
Doing God damn, I can't remember the Rush song.
Oh, I vaguely recall. Right.
Yeah,
but
I was
but
about
again,
to say
a
Working
lot
Man,
of
but it's not.
a lot of that came out of the pandemic, that right in that era, 2020 to 2022. A lot of 20s in there, but I think that is those 2 years. I think that's solid to say. There it is. That's your era there, because I feel like in 2023 was when we really kind of climbed out of it. 2023 is when we saw Mastodon and or not Mastodon, Deftones and
Fucking Gojira.
Gojira, who, by the way, 2 weeks ago, today, went out and kicked the world right in the ass for the opening of the Olympics.
Yeah, I love how all the Jesus Krispies out there just fucking tried to lambaste that thing as satanic. I was like, man, I think heavy metal might be back.
It's like you might want to actually read French history.
Oh, fuck that. Like, it reminds me of the 80s again. Like, oh, it's satanic music. It's satanic imagery. It's like, man, heavy metal is fucking making a big comeback now because of this.
You can't tell me that Iron Maiden didn't make a nut back through the early to mid 80s on Christian rage.
Oh, fuck yeah. Slayer, too.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Tom Araya's like,
Well, that was so on the nose. It's like, and finally, like Grim Reaper, like, really? Somebody's doing that? You know what? Fuck it. We're going all in then.
I mean, goddamn, I have a fucking T-shirt for the band Satan.
Yeah.
But I love that. And, dude, that fucking performance was sick. Just fucking plastered on the front of that goddamn old French prison.
Yeah.
Where Marie Antoinette was fucking beheaded. Just doing metal and fucking fireworks. And that's how you open a show.
It was weird to me because somebody, they did an interview with the front man and asked him, said, did you feel like you took metal on your shoulders and you had to do that and knock it out of the park in order to be able to represent properly? He said, yeah, I kind of felt like that. That's a weird ask, isn't it?
Like,
it's
hey, man, the
got
future of metal's on your shoulders.
I have got to take an entire genre and climb on my back. Time to get work done.
Well, dude,
it's an odd one, right?
Well, how many times is metal been displayed on a world scale like that?
Never.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Metallica, and by Metallica, I mean Hetfield and Hammond will occasionally go do like the fucking Star Spangled Banner for a Giants game. But as far as like a halftime show featuring metal in any, well, I mean, goddamn, NBA really don't show their fucking halftime shows. The only thing that has a halftime show worth watching is the NFL.
Yeah.
And they do not cater to metal.
Yeah, MLB, baseball, man, they'll do like concerts after games, or maybe even before, but you ain't gonna see you're not gonna see Metallica roll out for the 7th inning stretch.
I mean, that would be cool. That would get me to go to a fucking baseball game.
Well, they'd have to bang out a pretty short, like 3-minute set. I mean, it's
yeah,
just
true.
not
There's
gonna work.
not a lot of time. But yeah, man, I understand that question.
I gotta say, where Super Bowls are concerned, there is absolutely, man. If you're doing urban music, CHR, hip hop, whatever label you want to put on it, yeah, you're very widely represented. Pop especially, and pop is fine. Pop stands for popular music. Well, that's where your fucking pop people should be doing the Super Bowl once in a while. But underrepresented in the Super Bowl itself is metal and country.
Well, I'm sure we'll get Post Malone and Jelly Roll on the next one.
No, we fucking better not. I'm okay. I'm all right with because I think the metal then becomes a little bit too commercial, right? Because they did grab on or take on the mantle from the dying days of punk, of like we're going to take on that anti-conformity shit and do our own thing. We don't want to be necessarily popular because we're a thrash band or whatever. The only ones that embrace us said, yeah, give us some money. That's Metallica.
Well, I mean, goddamn, could you imagine fucking Metallica coming out and doing 15 minutes of just getting a fucking crowd ready for the second half of the biggest fucking sporting
I
event
can.
in-
I can. That's the thing. I can. My problem is, and as I've often bitched about on this very show, Metallica fans kind of suck. And by kind of, I mean they absolutely suck.
We're not all that bad.
I saw something the other day. Somebody saw Metallica, saw a live show, and put up the set list, and they had 3 songs off of 72 Seasons, and somebody had commented and said, "That's a great set list. Been all right if they'd not had those 3 off of 72 Seasons, though."
Well, that's what you call an idiot.
Yeah, he was bitching about because they play, live shows. They're doing Inamorata. They're doing Chasing Lights, and they're doing Suicide. Fuck, I forgot.
My Name is Suicide.
My Name is Suicide. They're doing those 3. No. My Name is Suicide, Inamorata, and Quantum. What was the first one they dropped as a
Lux
single?
Eterna.
Lux Eterna. Goddamn, there it is. Yeah, so this guy was angry they did those 3 at a live Metallica show last week.
I don't know. When I saw him in February of 22, I was a little like, I think I even said, like, man, this fucking feels like they're doing like a warm up for something, because it was a very straightforward set. You're getting the hits, you're getting a few, like, not a lot of new shit, but also not a lot of old obscure shit either. You're getting the hits.
Yeah, but
which
then-
I have no problem with. I mean,
14 months later, they drop a fucking banger.
yeah. And for anybody to bitch about hearing those songs live, they're idiots.
I don't know. I will maintain, I think Inamorata is the best song they have ever done. And if you hate that, I'm sorry, man. You're listening to the wrong shit. You also have to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not a way back Metallica fan. I am not.
No, I would say maybe you've enjoyed them for probably 10 years, but been a fan for the last 6.
Yeah,
When Hardwired came out?
Hardwired really kind of turned me into a bit of a fan. And 72 Seasons went, yeah, that's it. You're a fan. You're a
Death
fan.
Magnetic made you care.
Yep.
Hardwired made you a fan, and 72 Seasons fucking just validated all of it.
And I don't know if it gives me a different perspective, which I think it does, but Inamorata by Metallica might be the best metal song ever done. And I'm not saying that lightly. I understand what the fuck is
You know what you're saying. God, just for how long I've enjoyed this band, that would be a really hard question for me to answer.
Sure.
And I know my answer would change fucking every week.
Yeah, but if it goes all the way back to Kill 'Em All, like, I maintain that Greta Van Fleet will probably do quite well for themselves once Led Zeppelin's fans are all dead.
I don't know, man. Once that frontman came out he didn't come out as gay. He came out as bi.
He came out as pan.
Oh shit. God damn. What does that mean? I forgot.
You got something I can put it in?
Oh, he just don't give a fuck.
Oh, he's pansexual.
He's about love, baby.
That's
He's about
it.
love.
That is it.
I'm looking at the Super Bowl halftime show performers from like Michael Jackson
All right.
on.
Lay it on me.
Let's see. After Michael Jackson, that was 93 at Super Bowl 27. Let's see, 94, which that might be the one where fucking Niners beat the Chargers. Clint Black, Tanya Tucker, Travis Tritt, and the
Well,
Judds.
there's your country one. All right. I take back what I said.
Let's see, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross for 30. The fucking Blues Brothers.
Oh, boy. Oh, that had to be around 2000 when they were doing that bullshit Dan Aykroyd Blues
This
Brothers
was 97.
2000, right?
Yeah, this was 97. And
Oh,
Dan
that's
Aykroyd,
what-
John Goodman, and Jim Belushi.
That's what gave him the thought to crank out that shit movie.
And I was cool with fucking John Goodman being a part of that because that dude is a bit of a musician.
yeah.
He's not just an actor like, well, I'm the new fat guy.
I don't really care who they added. I just always have a problem with Dan Aykroyd.
See, 98 was Boys to Men.
Right.
And there's
Right.
a lot, but I'm naming
That's the right era for it.
the headliners here.
Yeah.
Let's see. 99, Gloria Estefan and Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the 2000s when shit gets really, really bad. Phil Collins and Christina Aguilera. That's a weird combo.
Right?
Aerosmith. Okay.
I remember
and
that.
In Sync.
Oh, I do remember that.
Let's see. U2 in 2002. Shania Twain, No Doubt.
Oh, another country act.
Janet Jackson. Okay,
that's
this is
the,
one where
Justin
where the
Timberlake.
titty came out.
Yeah.
Best one ever.
Yeah, that you couldn't see, but you had to actually take it back frame by frame, and if you slowed it down and you were holding your Bible at the same time, you could see it.
God damn, fucked up. Shit. Paul McCartney in 05, Rolling Stones in 06. In my opinion, the best one ever, fucking Prince in 07.
07, yeah.
Well, I think that might be the most metal one on there.
I mean, which is bizarre because, but that is the one where you get, if you're looking for a guitar aficionado that did the best work at a halftime show, it's Prince hands down. I mean, it's not even a debate.
And the funny thing is, like, not a lot of people fucking know that dude is a guitar player.
Except guitar players I respect went, oh, that guy could fucking shred.
So yeah, Tom Petty after that, Bruce Springsteen after that,
Buh.
The Who.
Hey, there you go.
We've hit the.
It's not like they were honoring some people like, well, they may not be around much longer.
We've hit the 10s, but now this is where rock in general just starts to fucking really drop off. Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah. Oh, that was a terrible one. You remember the sound quality issues they had on that?
Yep. Isn't that the one where she pissed herself?
Oh, I don't know.
I know Fergie pissed herself somewhere.
I don't know if it was the Super Bowl, but I do know that they're, and it wasn't even on the Black Eyed Peas. It was on the people with the fucking sound.
Yeah.
The sound production unit at the Super Bowl just utterly shit the bed.
Fucking cunts. Madonna. Beyonce.
If you're going to put some icons up there.
Bruno Mars. Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Coldplay. And a halftime show.
Well, they're trying to draw on the women driving their children around in a minivan for soccer practice.
And this was fucking 50 when they had it at the new 49ers stadium.
Yeah.
In Santa Clara. I was about to say Santa Clarita.
That's the diet.
Yeah. Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Justin Timberlake.
Again? All right.
Maroon 5.
What the fuck?
And now we've hit the 2020s. Shakira and J-Lo. Now, I mean, that's
come on now.
And, you know, that's some good-looking shit right there.
Shakira, all right.
Let's see. 21 was The Weeknd.
God, why would you get a band like that? Because it took me a second to remember who the fuck that even was. It's like you grabbed a flash in the pan. At least up to now, they're grabbing people's like, yeah.
Everybody knows who this person is, yeah. 2022, that one, that's the one where they had like the Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem.
Right.
So rap at least getting repped here properly.
The West Coast sound, yeah.
Yeah, because it's no longer just like one person. It's like 8 or 9 people now.
Well, they always collaborate, so you've always got every song is Dre and this guy, or or Ice Cube and this guy, whatever.
Fucking Rihanna, February of last year.
She was all right.
And of course, we had the Usher one this year.
Yeah, well, Usher's been around for a while, so I mean, I don't have a problem with most of those. Although I will take back saying that I think country's been getting screwed now.
Well, I mean, just like the Cowboys winning a Super Bowl, country ain't been there in a long time, time. Especially like Travis Tritt.
Is that why you associate the Dallas Cowboys with, is country music?
I don't know. Just it seemed easy.
Yeah, low hanging fruit. But metal, unrepresented. Aerosmith, the closest to metal they got.
Yeah. And I mean, fucking, I would say Prince was fucking heavier than Aerosmith, but Joe Perry's a goddamn guitar aficionado as well. But everybody knows Aerosmith, who, by the way, had to retire from touring.
Done touring, right?
I like Sammy Hagar's look. I was like, thank God for that. Respect to that. He recognized he can't do it, so they're done.
I didn't realize they were still touring up till just the other day.
All these fucking older bands are announcing farewell tours and are not able to fucking satisfy them. So there's like, here's our farewell. We ain't touring no more. Not saying they're not doing live shows anymore, but they're not going to do touring anymore.
It is a problem then when you get somebody that's like, this is a band. When you start getting into bands that like broke up in the early 70s, and all of a sudden it's 2024, like, we're coming back. Yeah, for more money. You're not back here to do anything for your fans who are all your age.
Right.
You know, and if you were doing shit in the early 70s, that means at a minimum you're in your 70s.
Yep. Yeah, and that's, you better have fucking killed it back then, too.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of them, no. It's like, that's it. Did our thing. Now we're going to grow up and go out and get real jobs and everything else. And it turns out, no, that's the worst thing you could do, proven by the Eagles, Eagles come back in the mid-'90s and start selling concert tickets at $150 a pop.
I'll be honest, I'm one of those guys that bought Hell Freezes Over, that live album they did.
I did not.
Well,
just the album.
Just the album.
I thought you were going to say the show.
Oh, no, I bought the CD.
Well, I don't hold that against you too much. I think I bought that and gave it to somebody for Christmas.
It's the only Eagles album I ever bought because it had there were like 2 or 3 studio tracks on there after the live shit, and I want to say I bought it for one of those songs. I would love to be able to tell you which one it was. I can't fucking remember.
Yeah. Well, Glenn Fry was still alive back then.
And the live version of Hotel California they have on there is a little good, but it's not because of Don Henley or anybody like that.
Yeah.
Fucking Joe Walsh and fucking Dan.
I've always liked Joe Walsh. I've always liked Joe Walsh's approach to that band. He doesn't care. He's just there to fucking rip and do his thing. And if they and back in the '80s, if they were slow for too long, which they did, and they'd eventually kind of folded up like a cheap suit, well, then that's when he's like, well, I'm just going to do a bunch of rock and roll through the early '80s and cash checks the rest of my life. Oh, the Eagles are back and it's '95 again. All right.
Before we throw to LJ.
By the way, this is the Mead for Metal podcast. Clearly, no Krista this week. I'm assured she'll be back next show.
Fucking A.
She's got to work and whatnot. Real life.
I can appreciate that.
But anyway, sorry I cut you off, dude. What's up?
If you can build your metal halftime show, you got 3 bands. That's going to fill about 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Because I already got 2 of them. I'm working on the 3rd one.
Now, and having said that, my mind immediately went to shit like Deftones or whatever. But that's shit I want to hear. You're talking about
a Deftones too.
You're talking about a show
like
that
the halftime show
that would work for the world.
Yes.
Okay, got it. So I'll give some thought to that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll give some thought to that, and we'll figure it all out.
All right. Speaking of figuring it out.
Speaking of figuring it out, time to get the lowdown. What's going down with LJ?
Power.
Hello, and welcome back to the metal portion of the Mead for Metal podcast. I'm your host, LJ, and let's get right into some metal, because I am in the mood to thrash. So speaking of thrashing, the first band on here is a death metal band from Italy called Fulci, Fulci. I think that's how you pronounce it. Double check me in the comments if you think I'm wrong. But the album is called Duckface Killings, and it is everything you want a death metal album to be. Fast, heavy, brutal. I can't roar death metal style, but I tried. Oh, would you look at this? Blue Oyster Cult has an album out. It's 50th Anniversary Live, Second Night. Go ahead and check them out. I think that Blue Oyster Cult rules. What do you guys think? Whoa. Hey, man. Easy with that comment. That's a little harsh for Blue Oyster Cult, all right? Let's move on to the next band. Maybe you'll be a little bit more optimistic, hater. Now, speaking of optimism, let's go ahead and throw all that dumb shit out the window and focus on this next band, which is a black metal band. And I gotta admit, even though I do shit on black metal a little bit because of how noisy it is, this band actually makes songs. Yeah, great songs, I must say. The first track of the album actually had me invested, and I ended up listening to about 3 or 4 songs. The band is called Dark Funeral, and guess what their album is called? Dark Funeral. Did you know that if you run a black metal album backwards, you will actually hear the theme song to Happy Days? Really? I love the internet. Let's move on. Okay, next up is a band called Jim Peterik? Jim Peterik and the World Stage. That's the name of the band or the musical group on display here, and their album is called Roots and Shoots Volume 2. So in case you're curious, there should apparently be a Volume 1 somewhere, and this is a rock album. It's straight up 80s sounding rock, and when I first listened to it, it kind of reminded me of kind of like Def Leppard. honestly, but the style is a little different the farther into the songs you go. But it started off sounding kind of Def Leppard-y to me, personally. But yeah, I think these guys are pretty good, so go ahead and give them a listen. Let me know what you guys think of them, if you give them a listen. Alright, speaking of giving people a listen, there's another band called Hammerfall, sorry. Almost got my Elder Scrolls shit mixed up with this metal band. Anywho, their name is Hammerfall, and the album is called Avenge the Fallen. I didn't listen to a whole lot of these guys because I'm trying to, get this list done. But I listened to the title track, and it is a hell of a headbanging little romp. It's awesome. So you guys can go ahead and judge for yourselves. Watch that first music video, and let me know, let yourself know if it's a good album to buy, because you're going to be the one spending money. So, yeah, go ahead and check them out. I enjoyed them. I'm not really a fan of, that operatic singing as much these days, but it didn't sound bad. It didn't sound bad at all. Now, a case could be made that I do like operatic singing because two of my favorite bands, Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, both have very operatic singing styles. But I say to you, well, yeah, that was back in the 80s. They're still good at it. The bands nowadays are like pale imitations of them, but it doesn't mean that they're not as good. It's just I prefer then to what's coming out now. Not that it's bad. Like I said, it's just a preference. Stop mocking me with your mocking eyes. One more band. Actually, hang on a second before we get around to that. There are 2 re-releases. There's one by Fireball Ministry called Their Rock Is Not Our Rock, which sounds like something I'd be screaming today whenever I turn on the radio. And the other one is Geddy Lee from Rush with his album My Favorite Headache, the re-release. Let me see if there's any other re-releases. Yep, there is. Pig Destroyer, Painter of Dead Girls re-release. Wow, that is some violent-ass naming. Oh, and a band called Prestige with the album Parasites in Paradise. I like that album name. That's pretty cool. That's also a re-release. And finally, we have Siamese with the album Elements. Now, this is an album you should unquestionably listen to beginning to end. Definitely. Exactly the kind of metal that we're hearing nowadays that I think sounds really good. It's fucking awesome. And I wonder how it's going to go whenever I get zooted. Only one way to find out. That's all I got for this week. Take it away, Kevin Brenda, and whoever else is in the meat hall, and I've got shit to do. So I'll see you fuckers later and rock the fuck on. See ya. Oh shit. Excuse me.
Kool-Aid's new better box. When last we left you, our school bully was about to chug his drink box. Alas, he never saw where went his straw and thus made a mess of his vest. It was then that he spotted Kool-Aid Cooler's new better box. Easier and neater with an attached straw you just can't lose. Not having it did not sit well with a have-not, and things weren't looking too good until... Wacky Wild Kool-Aid Song! And so our tale of Kool-Aid Coolers comes wackily, happily to an end.
What is this noise?
This is what time travel sounds like. That's exactly what time travel sounds like.
Fucking polyphia. Which, I mean, really, if you want to be this guy, if you got friends that like that you hang out with and you know that they play guitar better than you do, just go, oh yeah, it's can you play this one little spot here out of playing God by Polyphia?
Do you even Polyphia, bro?
Which that's just the old dick move, right?
Well, it's always good to break a band out. Like, yeah, dude, I consider myself pretty good. Oh, really, fool?
Okay. By the way, thanks to LJ for his insights this time, as always. As always.
Hell yeah.
Let's get back to a question that you had posed right before we threw it out to LJ, and that had to do with because we were talking about the Super Bowl, and realistically, aside from maybe if you make the stretch that Aerosmith is in some way a metal band, that's been it. Otherwise, there's not been a metal band to a halftime show for the Super Bowl ever.
I wouldn't even say. I mean, it's rock. Rock is represented, has not been repped in a long time, not since Prince.
Yeah, which a lot of people would be like, man, rock is better than nothing, so I guess we'll take it. But we don't have to. So Brandon threw out the question. If you can pick 3 bands to play the halftime show and fill a banger of 15 minutes on the world stage, what 3 would you select?
I think I have my 3. I know you have yours. So I'm gonna defer to you.
All right.
As I make final decisions.
Mine is lights come down, and then they come up and immediately just gets loud and angry immediately because the opener is High on Fire.
Wow.
And they get all the way through into some of their more that one melodic fucking thing that they dropped like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Right to Mastodon.
Wow.
And then Mastodon just hitting it really, really heavy. And then people are like, I don't know who any of these fucking people are. Well, High on Fire, maybe. But then from Mastodon, they go from like something out of like their slower part of like a Cold Dark Place, and then underneath of that pops up immediately One. It's Metallica.
Yeah. That's pretty strong. That does feel like One. Like if I were leading, and I had free reign, like as long as it's a metal band, that's fine. That's strong. That is strong. Like, but when I was thinking of it, I was trying to think of it in a way as like, well, they're not going to put. I tried to think of it as a way like this could happen.
Like accessibility. If that's the case, that's okay, because I've also got my thoughts on that one, and that's where you have Alice in Chains come out and open and do mostly all of their shit from the older era, but then pull it forward into some newer stuff, and then that's where you would drop in somebody kind of exceptional that is. The middle is kind of where it gets a little tricky for me. I still close it with Metallica.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And with mine, Metallica is the closer.
Sure.
In my brain, I have it as 3 bands, each doing a little something, and then all 3 coming together for like a Metallica song or 2. But my opener, believe it or not, would be Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Now, again, I was going more from the train of thought of like
honor the elderly.
Well, you know, and trying to think of like big metal bands that have global notoriety. It's a short list. It's a short list. But I would have Iron Maiden open, and I would follow that. Now, we're also assuming that this would be like this upcoming Super Bowl.
Sure.
So it's feasible. This is where you have your final Black Sabbath appearance with Bill Ward at drums.
Yeah, but I thought we already did that. But then, that was the final one with Ozzy, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, like a Black's, because clearly Ozzy's winding down.
Yeah.
And if they could get Bill Ward back on the kit for one more show, then I feel like what better place to do that than the Super Bowl? Because you don't have to do an hour. I don't think Ozzy could do that.
Right.
I think Ozzy's good for 10, 15 minutes, and then you better put him back before he fucking dies right there on stage in front of everybody.
If I was to like line up 3, but they wouldn't be metal. But I mean, if it was the thing of like, no, we're really going to kind of focus on like kind of the grunge era. I would open it with Pearl Jam, and then have STP in its current incarnation.
Okay.
And then close it out with Alice in Chains.
Now that would be a grunge mecca right there. Maybe have like Basement there in the background.
Well, here's some shit you probably don't know.
Grunge still going strong, but
man called a Narrowhead.
That would be yeah. And if I was just fucking booking it for my own fucking selfish reasons, Deftones would be in there.
Yeah, I was trying to think like, well, who goes really well with Deftones aside from like Chevelle and Coheed and Cambria? Oh my! What did I just do?
But man, you get fucking Metallica out there, and they start that opening riff, the Sandman.
I like One. I like One as like kind of a start.
One would be good because you get to fucking have pyro.
Yeah.
And of course, it ain't a fucking halftime show without a little pyro.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it signifies the handoff, you know.
Yeah, and Inner Sandman is a song all 3 bands, well, clearly Metallica could do, but the other bands could do as well with them.
Right.
You know, just fucking have all the guitar players up there, a singer, have everybody up there. The same way they closed that Big 4 tour when they had Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax, and Slayer.
Yeah.
And they would always close out the night with all of them being out there, except I want to say Kerry King because he's a fucking cunt. Doing like "Am I Evil?"
Oh yeah,
And not even doing a Metallica song, but doing a song that they all know. But I really think Iron Maiden at a Super Bowl would work.
I would like to see it though, where like they're getting ready, and that's the whole thing. They're like on their last one. What would Metallica probably close with? Probably maybe that would be Enter Sandman. I don't know.
Sandman, or I would say Fuel.
Yeah,
Fuel's a good.
Yeah, well, that's
getting a crowd going.
Because I mean, each band's going to be allotted like 6 minutes probably.
Yeah,
somewhere in
tops.
that area. But so they almost have to do a medley of their hits. But right when they're getting ready to hit the last one, say, "Put your hands together for a person. We love this guy. Used to be in our band." And everybody's like, "Oh fuck, it's Mustaine." And it's Jason Newsted.
I would be more happy about that. I've seen Dave Mustaine play music with Metallica again. The allure is gone. Now to see Jason Newsted come up there and just fucking double down on bass, Robert Trio, that would be pretty sick.
Hell yeah.
I'd be all right with that. That'd be a halftime show I'd watch.
Be kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, the 20 or so of you that check us out every week, 30, whatever it is. Yeah, get in the comments. Goddamn, let us know what your thoughts are. That'd be all right. Because, man, I do. Brandon and I, the problem is we think similarly in a lot of areas, so we don't get a lot of like new ideas necessarily outside of our comfort zone.
Now, if you want to do the most depressing halftime show of all time, you go Typo Negative, you go Paul Bear, and you go 40-Watt Sun.
Well, enjoy that second half, everybody.
Half people already cut their wrists out and shit.
Especially like it's a Ravens game and it's like 3-0, at the half. Like, well, everything about this sucks.
Justin Tucker having the best day on the field. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm hoping I'm wrong by when I say Post Malone and Jelly Roll.
Oh,
but
I don't. Wrong.
I want to be wrong, but I can't say it right off the bat. I am.
People go, well, there's this pop guy and here's this other guy with a bunch of stupid facial tattoos that couldn't make it as a rapper and decided country's where he needed to be.
I was going to say, you're going to have to be a little more specific.
Well, that is true. They both kind of fit that particular fucking
At least
description.
Post Malone has some fucking respect for like grunge and rock.
Isn't he banging Megan Fox?
That's that Machine Gun Kelly cocksucker, I think.
I get them confused. I get them confused because they're both on the same chart of awareness for me.
Yes, they're all cunts.
Ah, shit. No, that's been a good conversation. I like it. I like it.
And, then we'll be disappointed by whatever they announce. I'm sure it'll be stupid, unless they're like, hey, Wheeler Walker Jr. doing the halftime show. No. I'm buying a ticket.
That ain't going to happen. But, no, it'll probably, look, it'll be Eminem. And the reason they'll do that is because.
But he just did one
last
year.
Was
with
he on
Dr. Dre, Snoop
that was
Dogg,
2 years
Eminem.
ago. Okay. Yeah. I didn't realize he was in that crowd.
Well, there's about 8 of them there.
I thought that was like a West Coast show. So
it was a fucking mixture because it had Dre, it had Snoop Dogg, it had Eminem, Mary J. Blige, I think.
I vaguely recall.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, same. If I did, it was on in the background.
Yeah,
because I'll say that I was like, man, I ain't watching that one. Well, if I got the means to watch it, even if I don't care about the game, I might throw on the halftime.
Yeah, last year's Super Bowl, I didn't give a fuck about the game because that's when Brock blew his fucking bow out against the Eagles, and it was the Eagles and Chiefs. So I didn't even watch that Super Bowl.
That was just last year?
Yeah, and then this year was Niners Chiefs.
Oh, okay. So the year, okay.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I watched this year's halftime show is because I was watching the game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No,
I
mean, if there are like 3-4 teams around here, if they're in it, I'll watch. But that's about it.
Yeah, we got Niners, we got Vikings, Colts, and Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, man, and if Ruben will show up for it, Dolphins. Yeah,
depending on who he's repping at a time. Could be Steelers, could be Dolphins.
That is true. If it's
or it could be Patriots, but he roots for that team more out of respect for his brother.
Yeah, but still, that's all in like the same. I mean, 2 of them are in the same fucking division.
Yes, that's a problem.
At least when I went Colts Vikings, like, well, goddamn, at least they're in different conferences.
What's your two favorite teams? Man, I like the 49ers and the Rams. Like, well, you're a fucking idiot.
I like everybody in the NFC West.
It's why it always. My grandfather always fucking infuriated me. Like, what's your favorite team? The team that wins.
Oh. Well, you know what? There is something to be said for that. There's some wisdom because you will never be disappointed.
No, yeah, you're always happy. And if you truly don't give a fuck, it don't matter. I think deep down he was a fan like Brett Favre.
Okay.
So he enjoyed the Packers, which fucking infuriated me to no
I liked
end.
him for like 2 seasons.
I've never liked the Packers. I
was talking about when he was with the Vikings.
Oh.
You know,
Now, God, dude, fucking Vikings had a surge when he was in there for those
the
2 years.
post-Favre oxycodone days, yeah. Or what the fuck was he on?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, it was Vicodin. Now, I will say this about Vicodin. It is a painkiller, and it does that, yes.
Yeah.
It also, if you drink scotch with it, it makes you a really crazy-driven songwriter. Scotch and Vicodin. That's what it did for me. I want to say every guitar part that I wrote for a trop rock record here, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, was all under the influence of Vicodin and Scotch.
No shit. I don't think I knew that.
It brings it out of you. It'll do it.
Well, heroin makes you write good grunge.
Not all of them. Now, it occurred to me. There were 2 that I'd already previously written. But yeah, but the rest of it, it was generally on Vicodin and Scotch.
Wow. Imagine what you get done on H. Imagine what you could do.
On what?
On heroin.
No, I'd pass. That's
Kevin doing some good grunge music. Better enjoy it, man. He ain't gonna be around that long.
No one is. It's like, oh, he's on heroin? I like his odds to live another 20 years.
But the music's gonna be really good.
Meth is different.
Meth don't make anything better.
In our local area, not that it's anything, but no, there was a big fucking fire out like where they kind of have like a little tiny ancient subdivision of mobile homes all jammed in behind each other, not too far from where you live.
No shit.
And one of them caught fire the other day, burned to the ground. The woman was on meth and was trying to kill spirits. So she set her shirt on fire and threw it on the bed and left it there. And it destroyed one mobile home and like 2 or 3 vehicles.
Wow. This was near me? No shit.
Yeah, and I shouldn't laugh, but it's like, well, fucking hell, what else is meth going to do for you, huh?
You're not going to write that next great American novel.
When all the Nancy Reagans come out of the woodworks and they're like, well, don't do drugs, kids, and whatever. No, fuck that. It's not that reason. It's not the health reasons or anything else. It's because avoid this shit. It's like, man, I don't need to live anywhere. I can live on the street. And if that's the problem, like, no. You need to find steady employment and get yourself a house and stay off the meth.
Yeah. No, it's really, you've never seen a successful meth head.
No. You had people apparently that kind of dipped into it, right? That mayor of Toronto a few years ago.
Well, he's dead.
Is he?
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Rob Ford.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah, he's dead.
No shit. Well, clearly it didn't work out too well for him either.
I forgot that was Canada.
I forgot that guy's name.
Oh, shit.
Good memory.
Yeah, well, I'm a pop culture icon.
Always. All right. Well, dude, I don't know. Where are we at on time? We good? Or we need to wrap her up?
We're at about 54, I mean, if you got anything else pressing on your mind, we could certainly explore it.
Let's talk about Mead because we have an update yet again.
Yes.
We've done Mead work 3 fucking Fridays in a row, by the way.
Been busy.
I don't foresee one next week. Well, maybe. I guess it depends. We got to have a powwow about the next batch. Because what we've got inventory now. We've got, I don't know, somewhere north of more than half a dozen Troublemaker left. Somewhere 8 or 9, I think.
Yeah.
Our Landfall, that's our new sweet mead. We've got 2 cases of that shit, basically. Now, some of that is spoken for. Yes, I've got a family member listening. Yeah, that's going to have to be next week, man. This week's been a kick in the balls. So.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a week.
So anyway, so we got that going, and
which is nice.
We've got our stainless steel conical fermenter holding yet another batch in secondary. But we moved it off because we're doing the barrel purge. It's going to be a barrel batch, which means it will be a batch of long ships within a calendar month of when we move it again, which is going to be in about 2 weeks from today.
Hell yeah.
Man, if we do that, if we start that other batch next week with the second fermenter coming in, by the way.
Moving on up.
Yeah, we get that one started next Friday, and then the Friday after that, we move to barrel. That's 5 fucking Fridays in a row we've been doing mead work, which we didn't even do that much mead work in 2015 when we started.
No, that was back when, and we were letting shit chill for months.
Well, we do that more now than we used to then. Although if it's going to go in the barrel, I'm cool with moving it when it's still
Sure,
pretty young.
it's going to age nicely in there. Yeah, the last few glasses that came out of that barrel were fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, they shone like gold.
Yeah,
so
and it'll take some time to get back to that, but man, it's going to be good.
Man, we started the show talking about wrestling, and then talked a hell of a lot about Super Bowl.
Yeah, and rarely about football, just the music of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, had our LJ segment, our commercial segment, and came back and then put in our thoughts on that. Do you want to bring it full circle? Anything going on in wrestling right now that might be a thing of some kind of note?
I don't know if people. Well, shit, man. Fucking Kevin Sullivan passed away.
Who was that?
He was one of the old timers. He was getting kind of on his way out when I really started watching it on watching WCW in like the mid '90s. Probably the reason a lot of people know that guy's name is because his valet / girlfriend at the time would go on to be Chris Benoit's lady.
Oh, boy.
Who is now no longer with us.
Yeah, by some extreme methods you might want to Google. Yeah.
Here's what made it crazy is because Chris Benoit was in WCW, Kevin Sullivan was in WCW, and Nancy, who went by Woman in WCW, was there too.
Just Woman, huh?
Yeah, just Woman. I mean, she's a looker. But basically, they ran this storyline that was real.
Oh.
Like, Kevin Sullivan and Nancy were a thing, and then she started traveling with Benoit after Sullivan either got hurt or something happened. And then they kind of fired up a relationship. They translated that over into a wrestling storyline. Well, at the time, it was fucking amazing because if you were in the know, you knew, like, man, this is based on some real shit.
Yeah.
And you could tell when these motherfuckers were wrestling, some of those shots were a little stiff.
Yeah, but, I mean, and it's not exactly like it was unheard of because you go back to the Randy Savage thing with his lady. The hell was
Miss
her name?
Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
R.I.P.
Yeah, that was real shit. You know,
Yep.
and his rage and jealousy was also real shit.
Very, very, yeah. Everything. When he was a heel and he would take it out on her, it felt real.
Yeah.
Because more times than not it was. And then they had that story going where him and fucking Miss Elizabeth got married at a SummerSlam.
Right.
They were separated at the time.
Yeah,
when
they
that
were
happened.
already married and on their way out of that marriage when they decided to do that.
They weren't
one.
even a thing when they did that. I can't imagine what that could do to your psyche if you're already a little unbalanced when it comes to women.
Yeah.
But it's Macho Man. He was already unbalanced T to B.
Well, that's the whole thing. You don't expect that guy to be sane, right?
No, well, if he was sane, he would not be remembered.
No.
That insanity
Well,
is why we remember him to this very day.
Not nearly as fondly as I do. Health of the sport, AEW doing all right?
I guess. I mean, there's a lot of people on their way out that have been there for a while, like the Lucha Brothers.
Oh,
you know,
no shit.
I know the chubby one you're not a fan of, and the other guy.
The Nina, the Penta, and the Santa Maria.
That's a great Rage song. They're apparently on their way out,
Okay.
and they've been there since day one. I want to say.
Yeah.
So the problem is they're hiring all these people that no one else wants, and the talent they help. They already had like a fucking rep, but they got notoriety in AEW. They're just letting them go.
Isn't it healthier, though, to have where, like, you're moving wrestlers in and out, like back in the regional days, and it's like, nobody's going to get tired of this guy really quickly. We're going to keep him for, like, 12 weeks, and then we're going to bounce him.
Yeah. And then they all go to WWE where they're barely used.
Or New Japan.
But they're getting,
you
but
know,
they're
and
well,
they'll-
at least
they'll
in
make
New
money
Japan,
there.
yeah, New Japan, you're gonna have to relocate, but you're gonna make some money and get your ass beat, man. Japanese wrestling a little different.
Yeah.
They want that shit to look real.
Oh, yeah. And most of the time, it's, as you'd said earlier, man, most of the time that's a little stiff.
Yeah, they call them potatoes, and then you got what you call receipts, which means you punch me in the face hard, I get to punch you in the face hard, and if you keep doing it to me, I'm gonna fuck you up.
I'm going to see you again here in about a month, huh? Okay.
There's some videos on YouTube of like wrestlers fucking like just going at it, shoot style. Some like Hacksaw Jim Duggan is in one. I can't remember who it was with, but it's some funny shit, man. Because even like when wrestling gets real, they don't want to fight.
Yeah.
But they're like, I will if I have to. I don't want to because this is not good for business.
Yeah.
And Hacksaw Jim Duggan's always about business, motherfuckers.
Well,
Oh!
and wrestlers in general, I mean, they're there to do some crazy, weird, acrobatic shit, and they do it better than almost anybody on planet Earth, except acrobats.
Yeah. The Cirque du Soleil folk.
But they're not they're not truly fighters. Well, Brock Lesnar was, but most of them generally not. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Brock Lesnar's the only one I can think of. Certainly, fucking one CM Punk.
No, that motherfucker better at wrestling, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
He went
I hope so. I hope he's
motherfucker
better.
went to WWE and got hurt again.
I hope he's better at everything in life than wrestling, or wrestling better than anything in life. Because from what I saw out of his MMA career, that guy's terrible.
That motherfucker had 2 years to get ready.
Yeah, fucked
2
it
years.
off. Yeah, and then tapped in the first round, right?
By a proper fighter, Mickey Gall.
Who actually struggled against everybody else with any
Yeah,
talent.
Mickey Gall went on to have a very mediocre career.
So there you
And
go.
I can't even remember the second guy because after that fight, because the second guy toyed with the motherfucker because it went the distance and he had mount like 10 minutes of that fight and couldn't finish it. And Dana White's like, I don't know about CM Punk, but I know that guy doesn't have a job with us anymore.
Yeah. Man, there's some people getting shown the door in the UFC, that's for sure. That Muhammad Mokaev, gotta let go. That guy's an undefeated fighter. Gotta let go because apparently he treated hotel staff like shit, treated the UFC staff like shit, was acting like an entire asshole, tore apart his hotel room, all kinds of shit, and then talked shit, had some thing going on where he was talking about how much he wanted to kick his opponent's ass back at UFC 304, right?
Yeah.
And gets in there, and that was the most lackluster fight on the card among many.
And also, I mean, this might be more rumor. He was already negotiating with PFL for like future shit.
Well, enjoy.
That's why Dana White's like, PFL is going to get a great fighter.
Yeah, but that dude's already begging for his job back at the UFC. It's like, yeah, of course you're begging, because you're a piece of shit. If you have a thin strap beard and you have no mustache, and you're from Central Asia, I'm going to assume you're a complete piece of shit.
I think that's fair. I really do. Because it's rarely proven otherwise to me.
Oh well. So that's the case. Yeah, if you match that description, shave off that beard or grow a fucking mustache.
That's right. You got to choose.
Although I can appreciate the aesthetics, like I don't like getting queso stuck in my mustache either. But there's some shit you got to live with in life.
Yeah. I like my curtains, but occasionally I got to trim the top shelf because I like to eat.
I like the meat curtains. The
Well, I like to keep those in check as well.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah.
Like
Next
like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon back there.
Next time around, Chris is back with us. We're gonna get another update again from LJ, and we'll probably not talk about Super Bowl at all for months. I'm assuming.
Preseason starts tomorrow. Hey.